Why do we check the fridge, talk to objects, or feel phantom phone vibrations? Your everyday habits are secretly revealing the deepest workings of your mind. Discover the hidden psychology behind the quirks you thought were meaningless. 1. The fridge. Illusion. Chasing invisible rewards. You walk to the fridge, open it. Nothing new, close it, walk away. Then, a few minutes later, you return. Why? This isn't laziness, it's your brain chasing dopamine, the chemical of anticipation. Dopamine spikes not only when you receive a reward, but even when you expect one. Social media, slot machines, and yes, even your fridge play the same trick. Studies in neuroscience reveal that repeated checking is a dopamine loop, a small practice that mirrors much larger human tendencies. Sigmund Freud observed, human beings are never satisfied. They are driven by desires they rarely understand. Even leaders are susceptible. Winston Churchill, during World War II, often kept secret boxes around his study, opening them repeatedly, not for the contents, but to create small moments of control amidst chaos. Behavioral tip. Next time you catch yourself returning to the fridge, pause. Ask, am I hungry, or am I chasing a tiny dopamine thrill? Recognizing the loop is the first step to mastering it. 2. Talking to objects. The need for connection. Have you whispered thank you to your laptop? Or apologized to a chair? Over 70% of people do this occasionally. Psychologists call it anthropomorphism, attributing human traits to objects. Why? Humans evolved to understand and predict people. When interacting with objects, your brain instinctively treats them like companions, fulfilling a subtle social craving. Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Historical example. Leonardo da Vinci reportedly spoke to his sketches and instruments. This wasn't eccentricity, it was a cognitive strategy to process complex ideas through conversation. Behavioral tip. Use this habit intentionally. Speak to tools, write to your ideas, or narrate thoughts. It can deepen focus and creativity. 3. Phantom phone vibrations. The overstimulated mind, your pocket buzzes. You check, nothing there. This is phantom vibration syndrome, experienced by nearly 90% of smartphone users. Constant notifications train your nervous system to anticipate signals, eventually tricking your brain into feeling what isn't there. Freud's observation fits perfectly. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Today, these unexpressed emotions often manifest as digital anticipation. Even military leaders report similar phenomena. During the D-Day landings, soldiers described phantom alerts from empty radios, a hyper-vigilant brain anticipating critical signals. Behavioral tip. Schedule digital fasting blocks, silence notifications, to train your nervous system to distinguish real signals from imagined ones. 4. Winning arguments in the shower. Your brain's secret lab. Alone, warm water running, and suddenly you replay last week's argument. Perfect comebacks, brilliant rebuttals. Why here? Why now? The shower is a safe cognitive space. Your mind relaxes, lowering defenses. Neuroscience shows that mild sensory isolation fosters insight and creativity. The brain rewires unresolved emotional loops. Carl Jung observed, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Rehearsing arguments isn't wasted time. It's the mind processing conflict. Practical example. Thomas Edison reportedly reviewed inventions in the shower or during solitary baths, solving problems he couldn't tackle at his desk. Behavioral tip. Use private thinking zones intentionally. Let your brain replay and process complex problems or emotions, but also guide it with reflection or journaling afterward. 5. Earworms. The brain's looping symphony. A tune begins and never ends. Earworms affect over 90% of people weekly. Why can't your mind stop playing the same song? Psychologists link this to the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency to remember unfinished tasks better than completed ones. Your brain craves closure. Repetitive melodies hijack short-term memory until your subconscious finishes the pattern. Freud would argue, repetition is never accidental. It reveals unresolved tension within the mind. Leaders use similar repetition strategically. Abraham Lincoln reportedly recited poems to stay calm and focus during stressful political crises. Behavioral tip: channel earworms productively. Hum the tune while doing a task that requires pattern recognition. It can boost focus rather than distract. 6. Pretending to sleep. Avoidance and instinct. Someone enters the room. Eyes close instantly. Breathing slows. Pretending to sleep is more than childhood avoidance. It's an adult habit reflecting conflict avoidance. Humans are wired to dodge tension. Freud noted, no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips. Even pretending to sleep reveals inner motives, tension, stress, or desire to avoid confrontation. Historical perspective. Diplomatic leaders, from Bismarck to Roosevelt, often used silence or feigned inattention strategically, a social equivalent of pretending to sleep, to avoid escalation. Behavioral tip: notice avoidance habits. Instead of escaping, consciously decide when to engage or disengage. Awareness is more powerful than instinct. 7. Doodling, the subtle power of the unconscious mind. You're on a call. Your pen moves across the paper without thinking. Doodling improves focus by 29%, studies show. Why? The brain struggles with pure passive attention. A small secondary activity keeps it engaged. Jung himself filled notebooks with sketches and symbols while developing psychological theories. He understood that creativity emerges when the conscious mind relaxes, letting the unconscious speak. Even CEOs like Steve Jobs reportedly sketched ideas obsessively, turning doodles into iconic innovations. Behavioral tip: doodle intentionally during long meetings or while brainstorming. It keeps your mind active, sparks creativity, and reduces stress. 8. Overthinking texts. Social anxiety in the digital age. You type a message, delete it, rewrite it, reread it 12 times. Digital communication removes tone, facial expression, context. The brain compensates, overanalyzing every word. Freud. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Are you rewriting the message or your self-image? Leaders and negotiators face this constantly. Emails or speeches are dissected repeatedly before release. Behavioral tip: limit yourself to 2 to 3 rewrites. Read aloud. Trust clarity over perfection. Awareness of this habit reduces anxiety and decision fatigue. 9. Pausing music to navigate. The brain's focus filter. Driving, music playing, suddenly looking for an address. Your brain dims the music automatically. This is cross-modal attention. Spatial tasks require focus, so the brain reallocates resources, reducing distractions. Jung. The psychological rule says that when an inner situation is not made conscious, it happens outside, as fate. Even routine instincts reveal deeper prioritization strategies. Leaders often use similar techniques. eliminating distractions during high-stakes moments to maximize mental bandwidth, like generals turning off non-essential communications during critical operations. Behavioral tip: notice natural focus shifts. Intentionally remove distractions when tackling high-priority tasks. Your brain already knows what's essential. 10. Micro-fidgeting. Small movements. Big insight. Tap. Click. Bounce. Pen clicking or fidgeting releases nervous energy. The University of Missouri shows mild movement improves attention and memory retention. Freud: the interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious. Sometimes the unconscious communicates through subtle physical actions rather than dreams. Even elite performers use this instinct. Michael Jordan bounced his legs before critical free throws to regulate tension and improve focus. Behavioral tip: use micro movements to manage stress. Tap, stretch, or pace intentionally to regulate nervous energy and enhance focus. Final reflection: what these habits reveal about us. At first glance, these behaviors seem random: checking the fridge, replaying arguments, feeling phantom vibrations. But they reveal a consistent truth. The human mind is constantly seeking comfort, control, and understanding. Jung: who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens. Freud: the first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. These small, strange habits are windows into the unconscious mind. They guide creativity, manage tension, and reveal desires we rarely notice. Practical takeaway: next time you catch yourself in one of these loops, pause, reflect, ask, what is my mind really trying to tell me? Awareness transforms instinct into insight.